Hey everyone, Dave here with Affordable Door and Gate. I hope you are doing great. So welcome back, tribe. So here we go. We got one from Peter. Peter, I really appreciate the email, and I always encourage you, even if you're scared, I will not bite. I promise. Send me comments. Send me emails at the Daveadubson@gmail.com for anything business related, garage doors, whatever you got. You know what I mean? Because I love diving into the stuff of questions that people have. And we're going to talk about some of this. So this is probably one of those moments, instead of doing kind of a podcast here, I would recommend that you pause or you stop at some point and read this email, because I'm going to highlight some of the stuff in it. I'm not going to go over all of it. We're going to discuss it. And I'd love for any of my seasoned vets or anybody that's got any kind of information to help out. And let's discuss it. Let's talk about it. And let's see what we can do about it. So I do apologize. This video might be a little longer, but I recommend that you stay to the end and you might learn something. So, and if you got anything, like I said, put it in the comments below. So I highlighted this. This worked out actually good, the way that Peter did this, kind of broke this up. So I can kind of do this in segments. And then I actually got my notepad here that I wrote some stuff on. So first of all, I got to let you guys know, this is not business or financial advice. I'm just some random guy on YouTube. And this is for entertainment purposes only. So don't sue me, bro. So here we go. So the one part in this part right here that we got, right, he says something about the commercial seems more complicated on new installs. How do you make sure the horizontal track doesn't swing to the left or the right? Do you use a square? Do you measure up or square it up the header? Make sure other horizontal tracks parallel. So this is a great question. I would love to hear your guys' advice on this. So here's the thing. Once you kind of play around, especially if you got some high lift or full vertical lift on a commercial door, to me, it kind of comes natural. Now, if you guys got any tricks, like I said, drop them in the comments. But I normally can kind of sight down it. So when I'm on a scissor lift, I can literally look down it and I can kind of do it from there. Sometimes if you have a ground guy or if you come down on the lift, you can also, if you look at it and you can start seeing if it's widening out. Another thing, I haven't tried this. I thought about, what about like a plumb bob? You know, that might be a way if you get your other bottom track, you know, what you're stacking the door with first, straightened out. What if you did a plumb bob? I always wanted to use the laser to shoot it up, but typically it's too bright and I can't really see it. I have monkeyed with it, but that's also why it's nice if you can just screw the big legs into metal so you have adjustment, right? So you can pull them back out, you can pivot. And the thing is, with a lot of that horizontal track, the full high lift or full vertical, you typically can kind of manipulate it. Sometimes I use a big winding bar and I stick it in there. I will bend the track out a little bit. Sometimes I got to bend it in from the manufacturer. It all depends on how the frame is. So it's really not too bad. You just kind of roll with the punches. Once you kind of do it, you get burned a few times, but you learn from your mistakes. But like I said, anybody's got some good intel on doing, high lift or full vertical, and how always making it perfectly straight and never have to readjust. I've always have to sometimes readjust, not always, but sometimes, I can do 3 doors will be perfect. The 4th door will be off and I'll be like, what the heck? So comment below. Okay. Another great insight here. I'd recommend, like I said, you read, this is one of the videos that you kind of go through and read along with me, because I'm not reading all the details in there. And so some stuff might seem kind of broken up, but he talks about, my current job pays the bills, but we don't have much left over. I don't want to use our savings unless it's proven. This is the kind of I love this kind of stuff because I can relate with this so much, right? Money doesn't go far nowadays, and inflation is eating everyone, including myself, everyone alive right now. And what's going on with the Federal Reserve and things like that, I think it's going to get worse. They're bringing it down. I think they're doing it for their own interest because of national debt. But that's another subject. So I agree totally that, you want to do some stuff that's proven. When it comes to the mark, with commercial's kind of a different animal, right? You got to make sure you're kind of on top of it. You got your voicemail set up right. Sometimes you got to walk in. And sometimes you won't get it on the first swing. You won't get it on the second. Sometimes it's 10, 20 swings by the time you might get a chance to get in with the commercial. Commercial is such a different animal than residential. That's why, when you're kind of starting out, residential is kind of good to go. It's quick cash flow. The commercial, we're going to talk a little bit more about later in the video here, but it's a different animal. You got to be there when they need you. Hopefully in your demographic, you actually have commercial, because if you're, in my opinion, if you got to go 20 plus more minutes, you're starting to get kind of out of that sweet zone, you know. But if you got commercial that's in, 15, 20 minutes, yes, you can do 30, 45, but you got to remember that stuff all adds up, right? So if you can do it more local, that's good. Keep it close. Otherwise, you might just want to stick with the residential, just in my opinion. But it's definitely a different animal. We're going to talk about it a little later in the video. So yes, but keep your money. So let's talk about this for a second. Peter's got, he says, I can get most of my parts locally through Home Depot and Menards, so then I can complete jobs same day, except torsion springs. I still have to figure that out. I tried emailing Haas distributor near me asking if they carry springs or just doors, but never got a response. Do most door distributors also carry parts? I have to call. He says I'll have to call or go there in person, I suppose. Let me give you a few pointers here. This might help. So for Peter, this is a company that might be in his neck of the woods. He might have already emailed this because this is a Haas dealer. So he might have already reached out to him. This might be. Now, this is just my assumption by looking at the picture right here, this building. This looks like they sell product out of here. I believe I've talked to this company too, and they're trying to ramp up, right? They're hungry. They're trying to get customers like that are going to come in and buy doors from them, parts from them. So this would be somebody that I would probably check out because Peter is in my neck of the woods. He's a little bit north of me. The thing that says right down here, staff is knowledgeable about their products and service. So, maybe there's somebody you reach out to. Maybe it's something you take a little drive. You cruise down there. If they got an office staff, you walk in there, you say, hey, look, I'm looking to do this, blah, blah, blah. We're going to talk about a little bit more about what you might need later in the video here. But this might be somebody you reach out to. I got one more here. All right, here's the big papa. This company right here, like I said, both these companies, I'm not sponsored. I'm not giving anything to comment about them, but this company right here, I will tell you, is God sent. They were the company that started us. I mean, they started sending us emails and not emails. I'm sorry. Back in the day, it was faxes. We used to get a fax machine. We get it generated. They are the biggest, as far as I know, LiftMaster dealer in the state of Michigan. And they are great people. They got great products, Midland garage door sections. They can get you basically anything. They've been in business, it says right here, supposedly since 1977. A little history. Sounds like the dad used to run a service. The son, basically, that's pretty much retirement age. Now his kid's taking over. They just sell product. And so you can get anything from anything. Residential springs they'll hook you up with. Torsion tubes. Garage doors are in stock. A great facility. And they did an addition, so they even got more. And I do believe they do some delivery of some, if you order enough product in that. I can't say that for sure, but this is another company that you might want to reach out to. Another thing to kind of add to that last clip, you got to remember that some of these companies, you got to remember they start getting big. Even, I hate to say, even an affordable door and gate, like I said, you start kind of getting fat and lazy. And so you sometimes you don't take the small stuff, right? So sometimes you kind of got to bug them a few times, in showing up in person sometimes, dressed in some work boots, nice pants, clean looking, shirt tucked in, good firm handshake can go a long ways. And you say, hey, I'm looking to do something. And just remember, though, you're going to need some business stuff in place, which we're going to discuss at the bottom of the video here. But I wanted to go through this, right? He's also talking about, if you read along in here, some of the small jobs, replacing bottom seal, tell them a price. They say, okay, do the work, things like that. So here's what I kind of wrote in my notes here. So in my opinion, right, if you're doing like a door replacement, that is typically like you need to get half down, and that needs to be spelled out a little bit. Now, if you're doing like a special order, that needs to be spelled out even more. We're going to collect half down. We have to have some kind of verbiage in there that understand that this is non-refundable. Basically, what you see, we got the color down, we got the design down, we got the windows down, the designs down. That stuff is the stuff that you do not want to get hung with, right? So that stuff you need to be more picky with. Now, on the smaller stuff, a bearing, bottom seal, broken spring, more than likely you're going to get some pictures hopefully from the customer. You're going to go out there, you're just going to perform the service, right? And you can get yourself one of those little notepads that you can either buy, and you can just do a handwritten one. You can get them online too, that's maybe got your name on it, your business name or something, looks a little more fancier. But you can just go to the Office Max or Staples or probably even Walmart, local store. Anybody's got those ones that are just a carbon copy, and you can do that just for starting out. It does not have to be fancy. It's a receipt. You put thank you on the bottom. You can give them a business card. That stuff is very, how do I say it? You don't need to be very complex with that, right? Because you're not going to probably, what is it, like small claims, like $600? I don't remember exactly what it is, but somebody's going to jip you out of that. They send you a check or something for $40, $50, $150, $200. My opinion is just let it go. It was a lesson learned. Put them on the blacklist. Do not service this person. You know what I mean? And just move on. That's part of business. You're going to lose money. It sucks. And so I'm going to show you a couple clips of some stuff of this is more of our commercial. And I think there was a residential one in there that I think the wife of Tron sent me. So let's take a look at it. Okay, so this is a software of Jobber that we use. Now, obviously, she clips some stuff out of here for information for customers and like that. And a couple of numbers are obviously skewed around a little bit. But you can see right here for commercial, this is a Wayne Dalton's, a TS150. We got a 10 by 14. It basically describes, we're doing, what's it got here? 31 inches of high lift track, white in color. See, that's the big one, right? The color. What color is the door? Brown, pink, purple, black. That's important. So this is stuff where the customer would need to sign on this through our system to approve it, because we don't want to be, if this is a building that's not built yet, that could be a problem. Let's see, we got a 14 by 15, 36 inches of high lift, color, springs, perimeter seal. Price includes installation. Real basic. So hopefully this kind of helps answer. I really don't ever break down. It's way too much work to break it all down. And then it gets customers thinking, right? If you break it all down, it's $12 for a bracket. It's this, it's perimeter seal. They might start breaking it down. Look, they're going to look at the bottom line pretty much. That's how everybody works. They always look at the bottom line. They're going to read some of the details. They're going to like your price, not like your price. They like the way you performed yourself or handled yourself. Their existing customer. They like doing business with you. Let's take a look at another one here. So here's here's a commercial service call, PM, Salt Dock Gate. So whatever, they got $169 price service, labor exceeding 1 hour required complete service. So basically got up to 1 hour, 115. What do we got? New lock. We got $15. It looks like in summary, these are notes that they wrote, the problems maybe, what else to be looking out for, things of that nature. Very, very basic, but you can put the verbiage in there. That's not a problem, but you don't need to break everything down. You break everything down, that just gets to be, I got burned one time really bad on a job because I lost on the doors in a sense, and I was going to make it up on the openers, so I jacked the openers up. And I remember the customer said, we're not going to do. And it was a big job out of down in, Peter would know, it's in Kalamazoo. It was Battle Creek, somewhere down there in Battle Creek, Michigan. And I got burned bad because they didn't do the openers. They probably went to somebody else, but that was supposed to be my makeup, right, in money wise. And I didn't make it up. It was bad. So I really try to, the only time I ever have to, like I said, is typically insurance jobs. Insurance companies, for whatever reason, they typically want you to break it down, and then they'll sometimes try to bend you over and make you do it for a little less price. It just depends on how hungry you are. If you want to do it, do it. If you don't, tell them go fly a kite and find somebody else. Has 2 9x90-100s, need bottom retainer. Let's see, local residential service call here, 120, bottom seal, 27 for 9 foot. Real generic. This is, subtotal right here, and voila. So just make stuff. You don't need to break it all down and make it very complicated. Okay, let's have a little conversation, shall we? So what I wanted to point out is I have started multiple businesses. And I've always started with this guy right here. This is a sales order. Like I said, you can get them at the box stores, whatever, and it's got a carbon copy, right? As you can see, you got somebody to write the customer's name, information, the work you're going to do, a total. It's got, like I said, it's got the carbon copy, one for you, one for the customer. Very, very cheap. My next one, when I started affordable, I started out with this. I bought one from I think it was from our print shop, or I bought it. You can get them offline, I don't know, but it actually have our name. So up here on the top somewhere, where you put the information, it actually had our business name, had a phone number, blah, a little more, just a little more professional. And then we went to the bigger papers, which you guys have probably seen on other videos, the more form. And then we moved up to more of the electronic stuff with the, like Jobber and stuff like that. And I definitely say, obviously, if you're scaling out. So now this clip here, you can read through it, the licensing and all that. Here's the big thing. Here's the big thing that most people won't play with you. Service Spring, probably Maury's, Quality Door and more. You got to have the EIN number, right? That's like your tax, that's your business, that's you're doing business as DBA. You got to have the EIN number. That's a very, very important thing. Now, like I said, this is just my opinion, not financial advice, nothing. Here's the thing. Looking back, I would have personally picked something generic, right? Because maybe you get in with somebody that does fencing, and you're like, I'm going to be a sub. I like fencing, or I want to do fencing on my own, or whatever. I'm going to do just garage doors. I'm going to start installing windows. I'm going to start installing roofing. It is so hard. It's not really hard. It's just very time consuming. It's hard for me because I'm not that tech savvy, and I don't have a lot of time. I don't have a lot of time to screw around with always setting up different businesses and all that. It takes a lot of time. It takes me years, and I'm getting older. So like the one guy, right? JF Enterprise. I think that's a great name. I know I can get hit on that, and I understand a lot of guys, when you're trying to list your stuff, but we don't have the phone book so much anymore. You can put stuff in the Google search, right? You can put stuff as, JF Enterprise, garage door service and more, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So you normally can put it in the details below it that it is a garage door service. And the thing is that what happens is typically once you start building that momentum, it's the snowball effect, right? Snowball, it doesn't get real big when it's small, right? But as it starts getting bigger and bigger, you're like, wow, this thing's getting huge. Every roll is a huge add-on. So business is kind of like that. But the EIN number, now, I jumped into an LLC, and then we did, I'm having a brain fart here. We didn't do the partnership anymore. We did a sole, and then we did the S Corp. The S Corp was a big move. I recommend just going right to an S Corp, because the S Corp, what it allowed was that basically now, for me, depending if you want to scale. Now, if you say, you know what, I'm never going to scale. This is always going to be just for me, my helper. I'm never going to get employees. I'm never going to sell this thing. I'm just going to ride this puppy out. I'm going to bury it in the ground when I'm done. I'm not going to expand on it. Then sure, just do the LLC, do a sole membership or whatever, for an LLC, get your EIN number and go that route. The problem is what I've had is when you change it down the road with the Internal Revenue Service, they're going to issue a new number, and that can get complicated, especially with your vendors, is what I found out. So you got to go through all your vendors again and issue this new EIN number for your, if you're doing sales tax exempt and stuff like that. So the S Corp was nice because once I did an S Corp, now I could collect a paycheck, just regular payroll. And that worked good because if you ever want to get a loan, business, your employees, all that kind of stuff, it just gave me more freedom in a sense. Instead of everything, I am the business and I get taxed and everything as the business. It gave me more options to be more of a outside party. I'm not real good with it. But that's the best way I can describe it. But you got to get the EIN number. The EIN number is really the most important. Supposedly you can go on the website and you can do it, the Internal Revenue website, and make up whatever. It's just really they want to know the DBA all it is doing business as, right? They just want to know that you're using a different name. They know it really comes back because everything comes back to you because you are a business. When you were born and you got a social security number, that is your business. Now, technically, you can use your social security, but a lot of people don't recognize it. They always frown on it. But technically, from what I understand, you can kind of use your last of your social security number because you are a business. People don't realize that. This government uses you. You're like in the Matrix. You're an Energizer bunny. You are building the roads and infrastructure for these kings and queens. So, but that's just something to think about. But like I said, most people don't recognize it. It's a pain. But if you have an EIN number, because they're going to ask you for it, you go, this is what it is. This is my business. You typically got to eventually start getting some contacts, have a few vendors that basically have phone numbers that they can contact and say, there's a good review. This person does a good job. They're trustworthy. They pay their bills on time, blah, blah, blah. The credit part, you know what I mean? It takes an amount of time. But like I said, what I'm getting at is I personally would have probably set the business up. The only reason I ever did affordable back in the day was because of the A in the phone book. We don't have the phone books anymore. I mean, some of you guys do, but those are long gone. I would have just set it up as something enterprise because at the time I was always like, am I going to call it affordable door? No, we do gates and stuff. So now it's affordable door and gate, but we also do a little bit of fencing. So do I call it affordable door and gate and fence and ground digging and pipe putting in? And you know what I'm saying? And if things ever change, because at one time we were doing sliding doors and man doors, well, how's that all get, you know what I mean? So if you ever change down the road, it's nice just to have it as you want to start detailing cars. You want to start fixing cars. You always just have something that you can tell them, say, put it in ABC Enterprise or DD, or Dad, my initials DAD, Dad Enterprise or something. You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion. So some of this stuff a little more on the conspiracy theory of my brain, right? Another reason, I don't know if you guys feel it or not, but in my opinion, the government's not really looking out for your best interest. And if you can have something that's a little more neutral, because not always, but sometimes 9 times out of 10, right? They're going to find you. Somebody's going to say something. A neighbor's going to say something. They're going to see it on a website. They're going to see it online. They're going to catch it through the tax assessor, something, right? But you got to remember, so like when I used to work out of my house, all of a sudden I got these wonderful letters saying that I needed to comply regarding that the township has upgraded and now they are requiring like fire extinguishers. I really don't want to have fire extinguishers through my house, and I really don't want the government coming through my house. But they knew, because obviously the name of the business, right? And like I said, not all townships and everything, but these things are always changing in the background without you knowing, without you having a vote on it. It just comes in the mail and says, oh, you're in violation. So for instance, for me, I had the EIN number and all that kind of stuff because we needed to play ball, but I didn't have the township approval. So I had to pay the township now, whatever it was like $20-$30 for a stupid piece of paper that I had to keep in my office that nobody ever came to because we worked remotely. But what I'm getting at is that's why sometimes I talk about maybe you want to call it something of enterprise or something, because it keeps it kind of neutral, right? That's for my rental business. I do dispatching for truck driving. What are you talking about? Like, I don't carry product here. Now you do what you're going to do. Like I said, I am just a random dude on YouTube. Don't sue me, bro. I know nothing. But that's why I talk about sometimes if you're starting out small, you don't want people to know your business. You know what I mean? Because that does happen. People will know your business. And once you start down this rabbit hole, it's that whole truck driver thing, right? Once you're a truck driver, it's like you're always a truck driver. Once you're a garage door guy, you're always a garage door guy. And your neighbors, your friends, your relatives, everybody will come crying to you at some point. Can you fix it? Can you fix it? Can you fix it? Can you do it cheap? Can you fix it? The list goes on and on. But like I said, as business, maybe you want to start, like I said, detailing cars. Maybe you want to start wrenching. Maybe you want to, things change. Maybe you want to start doing landscaping. I don't know. But that's why I like to leave things kind of open when you're first starting out and you're just trying to make, you know what I mean? Because you might bounce from one business and go, you know what, no big deal. I'm just going to carry it over to this business now. And you move on, is what I'm trying to say. So that's just my 2 cents. You're trying to protect your family. You're trying to put food on the table. It's hard enough. You know what I mean? And they're always trying to get in your pockets, always. So that's my 2 cents. Peter, I really appreciate the email. Like I said, I hope this gave you some insight, and some of you guys out there too. And don't be afraid. If you got questions, I love answering things like this. So, you know, the big thing all I can tell you over the 18 years I've done it, a lot of it comes down to confidence. Get out there, shake hands, meet people face to face, be genuine with them. Be honest, you know what I mean? Don't be a shady person, you know, and do the right thing. You know what I mean? Go out there and tell them what you're trying to do, what you're trying to achieve. You know, you're just starting out. Maybe, you know, let them know these things. People have hearts. People have feelings. They'll let you in. Some won't, some will, but that's just part of the game. Sometimes you hit the ball, sometimes you miss it. So get out there and just keep hustling, keep trying. And if, like I said, anybody's got questions, hit me up at the Daveadubson@gmail.com. I put it normally in the description below. So check it out. Otherwise, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. If you wouldn't mind on the way out, just hitting that like button once, give it a thumbs up. Become a subscriber if you're not a subscriber. It's all free. And once in a while, we do some giveaways. We have a little fun here. We got a great community, honestly. So I love the men and women that are here and the things I've been learning. So, and if you guys got anything too, reading Peter's email and stuff like that, put it in the comment below. Like I said, because I can't cover it all. My brain's only this big. So we'll talk to you later. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next one. And thank you. I hopefully made it to that. Let me know if you made it to that. I forgot to add this in this little clip. I was going to talk about. I might have to turn this down or something. Wait a second. No, it's okay. Hopefully it's okay. It's not too noisy. The thing is that, let me see if I can turn this off. There we go. I'll turn that off. That way, hopefully, if it's not bothering you in the background. I just wanted to have the picture. Car insurance. Sometimes you got to have. What do we got to have here? An Accord for that. We basically also, most of our commercial customers, it's $1 million. $1 million coverage. So that's something that you might want to check into. Another thing is that hopefully you need to verify whoever you're using. So like for us, we're like State Farm. I think we pay, the wife of Tron said something about like $100. We pay $100 and they'll send us any paperwork that we need, and they'll send it right to the vendor. Not the vendor, but the customer, vendor or customer. They'll handle that for us. And that's a huge thing, because that's like having another secretary without hiring it and putting it on payroll. So the fact that they will send the documents, give the proof, amend anything. Otherwise, some insurance companies will require you to pay per paper, and sometimes they want $20, $50, $100 per paper to fill it out, their time and all that. So basically, with the commercial, like I said, you got to eventually get the $1 million coverage. The big thing is kind of have the EIN. Most of the time we kind of just rolled into it, right? It was like you get the paperwork starting to go. You do a job for them, and like I said, it's sometimes you do it, you might not get paid. It's just how it goes. You do something. Hopefully, it's small enough. Bottom seal, maybe a cable, maybe a limit switch or something like that. And you get the thing, you get the oils, the lubrication start to move is what you're trying to do. Because like this customer, I'm sure we didn't have everything, and their policies change every year. Sometimes they need updates, and you just learn as you go. But just remember, the commercial is, sometimes it's tougher, man. It's tougher. And you got to, and my opinion is you really need to have 2 people on staff. You got to be in it full time, because when they call, and then, in the midst of it, you got to be hungry, man. You got to keep going every day. You're not doing nothing. You better be on that phone. You better be sending out letters. You better be out knocking on doors. You better be out shaking hands, because now you're hungry, you're desperate, and you got to keep going. It's really, really tough. So sometimes that's why if you can get a nest, built up with the residential, and then maybe, that person's in charge of something, they get you into something. Sometimes like the DPWs are nice. They're not too overwhelming, especially if you find a small one. Things of that, an orchard, just small little farm stuff, nothing too over your head with dock plates and a bunch of craziness. You can just start out that way. But I wanted to mention something about the insurance. Insurance, I don't know what the price is really per month. But like I said, $1 million coverage, it isn't really cheap. But it's just one of those things. Sometimes they require more. And some jobs I've done too, I've had to have bonds on. And you got to pay for that. Depending on, like, I've had some bigger fence jobs that required us to do that kind of stuff. So hopefully that helps out a little bit. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out, I think. Hopefully I don't remember anything else. That's a good looking dude. He's younger. Less gray hairs. Tell you, man, that stress, it'll kill you.